Hello friends, welcome to Data Pandit. Today we are going to talk about plan recovery mechanism. So how the plan recovery happens. Okay. So we were so first we will talk about why we need recovery. So we want our system to be consistent and the transaction should be atomic. So this plan could maybe doing some database load or database transaction, or it probably writing some files. Okay, and it has written some files, and in the probably in the next sequence of files are not fully written, and some error happens. Okay, then the system is entirely in inconsistent state, and the recovery file is there in the system. So the plan tries to roll back the using that recovery file. Okay, so like we have a graph recovery file, so we have a plan recovery files for each execution of the plan. Okay, so whenever the plan or graph successfully executes, the recovery file is also getting removed. Okay, but if it is not, if it happens like the graph is failed or a plan is failed, then there will be a recovery file in the system, and we have to make sure that the cleanup happens according to our requirement. Okay, so let's talk about what happens when the when we run the failed plan. So let's say the we have some kind of plans, and that the one of the tasks, let's say perform method, is failed for one of the graph tasks. Then we will try to rerun the plan, right? So the failure could be happening according to our intention, like we want to some kind of kill the job, or probably it could be happening due to external circumstances. Maybe the system crashes, or it could be possible that our the data, if we are transacting to the database and database server is goes down abruptly. So in those cases the failure happens, and if we try to recover, rerun the plan, then there are three options. If we are running from the GD, there will be a three options would be offered. First is continue, AR sandbox run plan, continue from the failed place. So it will start, using that recovery file, and the graph or plan execution happens from the failure places only. There won't be any kind of recovery in that case. Okay, the second option could be it is asking as rollback failed and remove the job. So we the all the tasks which are in failed state, right? So they are going to be removed, and the job is also getting reboot. We are don't want to restart the plan, or we don't want to run the process basically. The third option is so what happens is these AR command is for whenever the things are running in production and we don't have ZD access for that those plans, right? We don't have connection, GD connection mostly for the production running jobs, right? So in those cases, we could use the air command, air sandbox command, right? So, and the third thing is remove the job and restart from the fresh. So if we know that we have enough, we have manual, we can do the manual cleanup or manual recovery from our side alongside the operating system, your conduct IT, rollback process. So what we could do is we can remove the job entirely and we can start from the fresh. If we know the consequences of this process, like if we know that this file and that file has been created as part of this, and if we recreate those file also, I mean overwrite those file also is fine. Or if we have to clean up from our side, then what we can do is we just remove the recovery file. I mean, rollback using that recovery file as it does, and then we can start from the refresh. So this depends on our requirement and how we, how better we know the system. Basically, you should know that what is the consequences of restarting the plan. Okay, this is that. Okay, so the fundamental aspect of the rollback method is what is why we have a rollback method, and what it does at must or what it does at optional. So the cleanup process is going to happen at must. Okay, so this is very necessary, and this is not a This is a mandatory step actually. Cleanup has to happen, and the restarting the job. Restarting the job is depending upon the our side. I mean, when if we want, then it will be restarting the job. Otherwise, the cleanup task at the event of failure is going to happen for sure. Okay, this is the responsibility to the rollback method, or any rollback process. The cleanup has to happen, and system tries to be in consistent state, irrespective of anything. Okay, but whether we want to restore the plan is in our hands. Okay, so let's talk about one of the use cases. This is kind of let's assume that this is a plan. Okay, this is a plan, and we have three tasks: task one, task two, and task three. So, and it is the control is passing from task one, two, and three likewise. Okay, depend using this flow, control flow. Okay, and we have a at rollback method for task one, and task B we have at rollback method, and we have a at rollback method and task number three. Okay, so what happens is or or task two is getting executed and it failed due to some reasons, maybe external or internal, doesn't matter. So how the recovery happens, and how many the method is going to be executed again. So probably maybe if we have defined the at start method, and the graph could have failed in at the at start method. So what is going to happen at rollback method? The at rollback method of task two is going to be executed, and this task is going to be rollback at start, and the process will be beginning again from the at start, then at perform method, and if we have at success method, then at success method of task two, and then other task of other method of task B, task three is going to be there. Okay. So if the failure happens at perform method, then what is going to happen is the rollback method is will be ensuring that at rollback method of task two is going to ensure that at perform method of we roll back, and then the starting will happen from the at perform method again, and then at success method, and so on. Okay, and if the if the failure happens at success method, right, due to maybe due to system crash or something, then what is going to happen is the add success method is going to be rollback using the rollback method, and then if we want to starting from the place of failure, then add success method of task 2 is going to be executed again, and then the respective methods of task 3 is going to be executed as it requires. Okay, so this is going to happen. This is a small kind of example. Okay, so if we want to look at the picture over here, the recovery, so if we have this plan, right, and we have another sub plan basically. So this we are going to understand in some time. So let's talk about the recovery plan, recovery group actually. So how we can create the recoverable, automatic recoverable plan basically in ab initio. So so they are, we have to define methods, and we have to create a sub plan and make it as a recoverable. Okay, recovery group. So how to make it recovery is recoverable is go to, so any sub plan we can make it as a recovery, as part of recovery group. So we let's if you look at this, so we what we can define is, so this is the complete sub plan. Okay, this one. So this is the plan external boundary, and this within that there is a sub plan. So if we want to make this sub plan as a complete recoverable group or recoverable plan, we can right click on that, and there is a, in the parameter section there is options, make it a recoverable. So then we can make it a true. So this becomes the T2, T3, and T4. All the tasks will be part of rollback or recoverable group. So this is how we can create the recovery group and recoverable plan. Okay. So how recovery happens is, so let's look at this example. So we have task one, which is as part of the external plan, and then there is a sub plan which has T2, T3, and T4. T4 is independent, and T2 and T3 is in sequence. Okay, so for respective at rollback method is there for all the tasks, including T1, and also the rollback method of sub plan is also there. Okay, so what happens is whenever let's say T3 failed. Okay. So what will be happening? The at rollback method of T3 will be called. Okay, and the task will be would be rolled back. Okay, and then because we have defined this subplan as a part of recovery group. So what is going to happen is T2 is also going to be rolled back. So all the tasks is going to be rolled back as plan of that as part of that subplan, which is recoverable. Okay, or as in is part of recovery group. Okay, so if T3 is failing, then the rollback of T3 will be happening, and then rollback of T2 is going to happen, and simultaneously rollback of T4 is also going to happen, and finally at rollback method of subplan is get will would be called, and everything as a unit will be rolled back. So this is how it happens. Okay, as part of a recovery group. So why we create the recovery group? Because we can customize many things. Okay, so we know that if this fails, this if the task T3 is failing, then because the system as a whole, T2 might have did some transaction in the databases, and T3 is doing some validation part of it, and T3 is going to fail. Then if we only recover the T3, this is not going to be make the has the whole system in consistent state or in atomic state, right? So in those circumstances, we want to make sure that T3 or T2 also roll back, right? So that is that. Okay. So so this is kind of we can customize the recovery. We can rolling back and recovery mechanism we can take in our hands, right? This is the example of that. So how the recovery happens in looping plan. So if this let's example, if this is this plan is a looping plan. So so let's say the looping plan this is a sequence looping plan. So let's say we are iterating 3 times, and first iteration is successful, and second iteration is let's say it failed. So what is going to happen is this is the second iteration is only going to be rolled back, and again the second iteration will be, if we are starting the plan again, then the iteration second is going to be executed again, and then the iteration number 3 is going to be executed. So if we are running the things are happening in a concurrent process, and only the iteration or maybe the second process is failing. So if you are running the subplan in concurrent, right? So all the 3 tasks will be, let's say we have a three uh, the number is 3, 3 times we are going to execute in concurrent. So let's say the third index subplan is, third iteration, concurrent iteration is failed. Then only the third is going to be, roll back, and again the third will be executed. What is going to happen is if failure happens in third, all the first and second, because they are executing concurrently, are going to be finished. And then if we try to roll back, then only the third will be getting rolled back. And if we have try to run again, then only third is going to be executed again. It's not like we are starting from the fresh and it's executing 1 and 2 again. Okay, 1 and 2 concurrent execution again. So this is going to happen in looping plan. Can we do rollback all the iterations? So this is the question, right? So because let's say we have created a sub plan, and we want that, and we understand that this the sub plan execution, let's say 3 time execution is the only 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 way where can system could be consistent. System should be executed all the three iteration. Otherwise, it's not going to be succeeded as a unit. So what we can do is we can make that sub plan in a recovery group. Okay, we make it as a recovery group as true, and then execute it. Okay, so this is how it happens in recoverable group. So we understood the mostly major part of recovery. This is how it happens in while recovering the plan. Okay, thank you so much. Please subscribe my channel. We are going to